Hello everyone! Thanks to Gogmazios and Arch Tempered Jin Dahaad, we now have a ton of new and powerful gear that we can use in our endgame builds. So in this video I have compiled 4 of the best longsword builds that you can make in Title Update 4. We're going to have our main set, which is basically just going to be all about doing as much damage as possible. We also have a very powerful and very fun set with Scorcher, which is so strong it's almost identical to the main set. Another set which is built around burst boost and is a fantastic option for anyone looking for a build that doesn't rely on a ton of conditional skills. And lastly, we're going to have yet another set which is built around second wind, for anyone who wants to be able to roll around and sprint comfortably without losing maximum might. So lots of builds with lots of variation, but in addition to all of that, I have also included a perfect charm and craftable charm version of all of these builds, so you can still make all of these builds regardless of your charm luck. But before we get into the builds, I want to quickly mention that if you would like to get access to my builds and future builds before I make videos on them, you can get access to absolutely everything in the build section of my Discord server. Links everywhere. Right then, the first thing you'll need to know about the builds is actually the weapon. Your ideal weapon is going to be a Gogma Artian Longsword, with both Gogmazios Tyranny and Lord Soul as the active skills. This is what your ideal reinforcement bonuses will look like, and I recommend you go with the attack focus. Also, ideally you'll want to match your element to the monster's weakness, but if you're only going to make one element, I'm going to recommend you go with Dragon, as it's the most applicable to the Gogmazios fight. Moving on to the first build, we have our main set, and to make this one you're going to need a Gogma Artian Longsword, with both Gogmazios Tyranny and Lord Soul. The armor is going to be the Raidao Head Gamma, Nuudra Chest Gamma, Raidao Arms Beta, Laggy Acris Waist Beta, Gogmazios Legs Beta, and I'm using this charm. Now it's worth noting that this is the best possible charm to use for Longsword. That's because that 1 point of critical draw is going to increase our affinity on draw attacks, most notably EI Spirit Slash, by a whopping 50%. That's pretty much going to guarantee that your EIs always crit, but if you don't have a charm like this, then you can just use any other attack charm that you have instead. Also, if you can't get critical draw, you still want to max out critical boost instead of attack boost, but the difference is only like 0.2% at most, so the numbers are pretty much all the same anyway. These are all of the decorations you'll need to make this set. Now, as I said before, this is basically your main set. It generally does the most damage, but relies on a bit of latent power to actually achieve that. Personally, I'm getting a bit tired of using latent power, but it does usually lead to the highest numbers. Taking a look at the math behind this set, we have 257 base raw, which gets increased by 5% for guts, and an additional 4% for attack boost, giving us 280. With our flat damage skills added on top of that, we then get up to 332. White sharpness then turns that into 439. So with our affinity and critical boosts, we're looking at a total of 595 EFR. As for the craftable charm version of the build, to make this one you're going to need that same Gogma Artian Longsword with Gogmazios Tyranny and Lord Soul. For the armor, it's going to be the Laggy Acris Head Beta, Raidao Chest Gamma, Raidao Arms Gamma, Laggy Acris Waist Beta, Gogmazios Legs Beta, and the Exploiter Charm 2. Along with all of these decorations right here. Now, because this set uses a craftable charm, we do end up suffering a bit of a damage loss thanks to us no longer having attack boost, but we do manage to pick up a Zur Bolt, which gives us a bit more affinity and some occasional damage procs. That's going to go a decent way towards closing the gap on that damage loss, as you'll see with the math. But other than that, the set is basically the exact same as the original. Getting into the math, we have 257 base raw, which gets increased by 5% for guts, giving us 269. Flat damage skills then bring that up to 312, which with white sharpness is 412. So once we account for our affinity and critical boost, we're looking at a total of 578 EFR. Moving on, next up we have the Scorcher build, and for this one you'll still need a Gogma Artian Longsword with Gogmazios Tyranny and Lord Soul. The armor is going to be the Guardian Rathalos Head Beta Transcended, Nuudra Chest Gamma, Guardian Rathalos Arms Beta Transcended, Raidao Waist Gamma, Gogmazios Legs Beta, along with a good charm. However, you will also need all of these decorations as well. So this is going to be your Scorcher build. It's extremely similar to the main set, as it basically just swaps Thunderous Roar for Scorcher. If you're wondering which one is better, they are honestly so close together that it's actually really hard to tell, especially considering Scorcher's damage output isn't really something that you can easily calculate. But personally, I find this set to be a lot of fun to play, and there's really no wrong option here. So if this set seems interesting to you, I would highly recommend you give it a try. Getting into the math, for this one we're going to have 257 base raw, which gets increased by 5% for guts, and an additional 4% for attack boost, giving us 280. With our flat damage skills added on top of that, we then get up to 332. With white sharpness that becomes 439, or after accounting for our affinity and critical boost, a total of 590 EFR. For the craftable charm version of the build, it's a Gogma Artian Longsword with Gogmazios Tyranny and Lord Soul. The armor is going to be the Guardian Rathalos Head Beta Transcended, Nu'uja Chest Gamma, Guardian Rathalos Arms Beta Transcended, Gogmagala Waist Beta, Uthduna Legs Gamma, along with the Powered Charm 3, as well as all of these decorations right here. So with this being a craftable charm build, we do of course lose all of our attack boost yet again, but we do manage to gain 1 point of agitator to help make up for that. I was honestly hoping we could get something better than 1 point of agitator here, but it's the best we can do. As for the math here, it's going to be 257 base raw, increased by 5% for guts, giving us 269. With our flat damage skills added on top of that, we then end up with 315. White sharpness then turns that into 416, so with our affinity and critical boost, we get a total of 575 EFR. Getting into the burst boost build, to make this one you'll need that ideal Gogma Artian Longsword, including the active skills of Gogmazios Tyranny and Lord Soul. For the armor, it's going to be the Braidao Head Gamma, Nu'uja Chest Gamma, Guardian Ebony Adogaron Arms Beta Transcended, Gogmazios Waist Alpha, Gogmagala Legs Beta, and I'm using this charm here. These are all of the decorations you'll need to make this set. Now, I really like this build. It's not as strong as some of the options I mentioned previously, but it is still very strong nonetheless, and the set does have that nice upside of not relying on agitator or latent power. So if you're looking for a build with less conditional skills, this is probably going to be the best build for you. The math is going to be 257 base raw, increased by 5% for guts, and an additional 4% for attack boost, giving us 280. Flat damage skills then turn that into 344, with white sharpness that's 454, or with our affinity and critical boost, a total of 581 EFR. As for the craftable charm version of the build, we're using our Gogma Artian Longsword with Gogmazios Tyranny and Lord Soul. For the armor, it's the Guardian Ebony Adogaron Head Beta Transcended, Nu'uja Chest Gamma, Braidao Arms Gamma, Gogmazios Waist Alpha, Gogmagala Legs Beta, and the Mighty Charm 3. Plus all of these decorations as well. So again, for this set we're using a craftable charm, so our attack boost is gone. In an attempt to make up for that this time, we end up gaining an additional point of burst, and that actually does a somewhat decent job, thanks to higher levels of the skill actually providing more significant benefits. Getting into the math on this one, it's going to be 257 base raw, increased by 5% for guts, giving us 269. Flat damage skills then bring that up to 327. White sharpness then turns that into 432. So with our affinity and critical boost, we're looking at a total of 562 EFR. Moving on to the second wind build, this is yet again another great set. To make this one, you'll need that Gogma Artian Longsword with Gogmazios Tyranny and Lord Soul, along with the Guardian Fulgur Anjanath Head Beta Transcended, Nu'uja Chest Gamma, Gogmazios Arms Alpha, Gogmagala Waist Alpha, Jin Dahaad Legs Gamma, and I'm using this charm right here. You will also need all of these decorations as well. Now, as I said before, this is honestly another great set. I really like this one. It's fantastic for anyone who wants to be able to roll around and sprint a little bit without immediately losing maximum might. Plus, if you pair it with the black belt food skill, you can even use Foresight Slash without losing maximum might as well. This one doesn't have latent power either, so you don't have to worry about that. Plus, it can even be stronger than the burst boost build, provided you can get high enough agitator uptime. As for the math, we have 257 base raw, increased by 5% for guts, and an additional 4% for attack boost, which gives us 280. We then add our flat damage skills on top of that, getting us up to 341. White sharpness then brings that up to 450, so once we account for our affinity and critical boost, we get a total of 584 EFR. Getting into the craftable charm version of the build, for this one it's going to be everyone's favorite Gogma Artian Longsword with Gogmazios Tyranny and Lord Soul yet again, as well as the Guardian Fulgur Anjanath Head Beta Transcended, Nu'uja Chest Gamma, Gogmazios Arms Alpha, Gogmagala Waist Beta, Uthduna Lag's Gamma, and the Exploiter Charm 2, along with all of these decorations. So this one is basically the same as the original. We don't have attack boost anymore, but we do gain an additional point of Agitator to help compensate for that, and it does a pretty decent job as well. Looking at the math, it's 257 base raw, increased by 5% for guts, giving us 269. Flat damage skills then bring that up to 324. White sharpness then turns that into 428. So with our affinity and critical boost, we're looking at a total of 570 EFR. So those are all of the best longsword builds I recommend you be using a title update for. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe for more content like this, join the Discord, and I'll see you in the next video.